So if you can, I would suggest have a leading line of text that pushes them to your main website.
You can put your link. You can put your website link.
Because give them a reason to visit your main website.
So people who stumble across your content page on your either NHS or the BMI or the Spire or whatever it is, you can talk about the three conditions you treat, little paragraph, and click here to learn more. And then they go to a proper site where you talk in proper detail, where you've got complete control of the content and the dialogue and everything.
And can I just find out so there should be nothing on the website that you click and it takes you into an external.
Correct.
So if you've got a Facebook, we talk about that tomorrow. So how you just have
so
a logo
the exception to that
yes, it
is you can link to things like your Facebook and your Twitter and things like that, but you link to them on the thank you page after they've given you their details. So once they've inquired, you then say, thanks very much, do you want to check us out on Facebook, click here. Because at that point you've got their details.
So link after they've kind of contacted you.
Now there might be, there's more complicated things that we can go into, which we'll talk more about with the pay-per-click. But in principle, that's the place to do it. If you're going to do it anywhere,
so
do it
they've
there.
made an appointment and then...
Dev, is there like any, I'm just thinking, if say you're a gastroenterologist and you want to, let's assume I can't think like a patient, I just can't do it. Is there a way to get market research where I'm able to kind of say, okay, if someone did go to a gastroenterologist, this is what they kind of clicked on?
Yes.
There's,
and the shortcut is this, and again, things dovetail in so many different ways, so it feels like we're going all sorts of directions, is this. Your website should answer, I suggest, this question. First of all, what are the 10 things that somebody who's got, needs cataract surgery for? What are the 10 things that patients always ask you? They'll ask you 10 or whatever it is questions. Yeah. My point is, the contact on your web page, you should make sure each of those questions is answered. Right. Secondly, of all those questions they answer, is it overnight stay, is it local anaesthetic, my sleep, all the stuff you know. Will I see instruments poking my eye and all the rest of it? Then, what are the 10 questions they don't ask but should ask? And make sure you answer those questions. That's it's not objective, of course, but your clinical experience will allow you to answer the questions that are most important to your patients, because you know what they always ask about tonsils or this or that or the other. So answer them. And then when they come to the site and they read about, say, cataract, so they say, you're the cataract guy, so they'll see that you understand them. They'll see that you get where they're coming from and their concerns. Yeah? And this is how the whole relationship thing works. It's like, you get what I'm worried about and you're putting my mind at rest straight away. And I've been to your website and you've got a picture of a surgeon there peering over there, and it's like,
that's not mine, is it? That's
my point is, I've been to all these other sites and they all look scary and they're talking about all these other things and weird intraocular implants and this and that and the other, and I don't understand what it means. And then someone's going to fire lasers in my eyes, oh my God. Then they come to your site and it's talking about all the stuff that actually matters to me. I think, I want to see this guy.
So would you have what are the 10, tab for 10 most common questions or something?
No, you put that in the content.
Just
so,
in
for
the
example, you've got a page about shortness of breath.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just slightly difficult.
FAQ thing.
No, not at all. Keep it simple. So, for example, you're talking about prostate. So TURP, that's a common operation, yeah. So these are the 10 questions people ask you who are online with prostate problems. Okay. So you answer those questions. You can't say you must be worried because you're getting up at night having a pee. You go back to bed, and you're up 10 minutes later you have another pee. There's this, there's that. This is in the content page. So, so you're talking about prostate. So with prostate problems, with lower urinary tract obstructive symptoms, you'd put something there like, do you find yourself peeing more often, or are you getting up in the night to pee, something like that. Because that's what patients are looking for. They're not looking for TURP or something. And then on that page, you then talk about, as a normal part of the aging process, the prostate gets bigger, and you don't notice that, and then suddenly you find that you're getting up to pee 3 times a night. You've just gone back to bed, you're up again, you're not sleeping so well, there's this, there's that, you're standing there, you've gone out for a drink with your friends, you're standing there for 10 minutes trying to have a pee while, there's traffic going in and out all around. The things that people complain about.
That's a landing page, is it? With Could that be a landing page?
That could be a landing page, but it's a page that's addressing the condition that we're talking about. And so you're not saying FAQ, you're answering their questions before they ask it.
Can you quickly go on mine?
We'll have to stop now because we can. I don't mind looking at it again. We can, this evening or another time, not a problem. But I've got another colleague who's going to come to speak with you now. Who's just arrived. So I think we have a bit of a break now. Go get a quick cup of coffee or a drink.
So just before
I'll
we
bring
finish,
my colleague in and we'll have a chat.
so just before we go,
Oh,
presents,
okay. There
presents
you
for
go.
you all. So I think I might have one each.
Can you sign one?
I can.
For a celebrity.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Was that helpful?
Go on.
Yeah.
Big print
When was the last time you did a private radical
Okay.
neck dissection?
No, but it's got.
Thank you.
Of course not. If you know what oncology means, you're already seeing an oncologist.
Which one you got?
Yeah.
Might as well.
And also,
Put your contact
and also your
details.
contact details.
Is it Jeb?
I
Jebby.
have
No,
No, that's you, Floyd.
What do you think?
Well, this is, there's a lot to like about this.
How long
There's a
have you
good
been
picture of you here.
doing
There's your
global?
number up here. That's good.
I've been in the industry now for 10
That's
years,
fine. Prostate,
Um,
bladder, penile, urethra.
and
That's not bad. It's got your name
this is
now.
my third
Again,
book.
I think the text is a bit small and hard to read.
The other
but
ones
there's
are
a lot to
one's
like
more
about
of a
this
planner,
page.
like a 90-day
Um,
planner.
Okay.
Which is not to say
and
there
the
isn't
other
a
one
lot that
was
could
just
be
more of a
improved.
generic
All this stuff here is useless.
how to grow your business type.
And I would
book.
put, again,
But
this is all
far
useless.
more specific.
You
But
know?
obviously this is not
Do you want me
this
to
is
do this?
about changes, isn't it?
So you've got limited control, but all this stuff could be hidden.
Yeah.
I need to go visit your website.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have one?
So all this stuff
Well,
could be hidden elsewhere.
I would
so when it
say,
comes to
read the
contact me,
book.
it's here. You don't want this taking up valuable
Um,
territory on the front.
And we'll have a chat in the bar,
No. I'd put that in the
later.
contact page. So contact.
and then maybe we'll just take discussions from there. But I wouldn't, there's
I've
Just change from what you've said. I've just
okay.
changed
Yeah, there you go. That's much better already. Yeah.
slightly. I've still got pictures I need, but I've got rid of the.
Leaps and bounds better though.
Paste. I've got rid of the blue things. That seems to make no difference at all. And just very simple.
Yeah. No.
I will get it done.
If you've got a prostate problem and you go to this guy's website, all it talks about is prostate problems.
Good.
He's the guy. It's like you've got a BMW, yeah, or a Mercedes, whatever it is. This is the BMW garage. He's the.
Okay.
Yeah,
we can-
Well, I've got to speak to the other chap. We can. I don't mind speaking. It's fine, yeah. But let me just.
You've seen, I don't
Give
See
me
one
one there.
I'll put it on the actually rather than reading the book.
Do you know, I was chatting to my marketing girl. I haven't got business cards. I haven't had business cards in 2-3 years.
Ah, you
I
found
was
him,
thinking, I should get some business cards. shouldn't I?
mate.
you do websites.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah. See you, mate. Looking well. You're looking a bit fucked.
Oh God, sorry.
God, you're going to be breaking wind like this.
Yeah, I've got terrible writing.
Right.
B,
So it's Ben.
E,
Yeah. Email is ben at
N,
ss1.
the number one.
Yeah.
Fine.
Creative.
Well, 45 minutes or something talking would be good. I'll have a quick wee and I'll come out and then we'll get you in there.
07,
07507
5,
So is it all right then, Dave? You think it's okay?
55,
8384.
83.
There we go. That's the one. So you'll notice if you do go to the website, there's nothing there at the moment.
Ben, can I just,
Rebuilding at the moment.
this is
but,
one of my colleagues.
Yep.
Just have a quick, what do you, so you just
Okay, so the immediate thing is the sliding image, so obviously that's frustrating. That's always good. That's sort of like you need someone, but it's still very.
It's simple things done well.
Usually you have this common, those common conditions. You can't have it, you click on it, and you've got the condition. But maybe a bit scary pictures.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. That's the. I mean, in some ways, you have to really think about how you're going to write this, because it's really difficult to actually write how to treat medical conditions without really detailing the medical condition.
So you do a lot of medical tests?
I wouldn't say a lot, but we do. I mean, I work with Dev quite a lot, so I do. I work in hand in hand with a lot of Dev's clients. So.
I really want to get. I'll give you that. That's
Yeah.
I'll take mine, but I would like to get a website set up.
Sure.
As I said, I've got this at the moment. Part of this group called Urban Prostate. So that's my profile
That's on.
on that group.
Okay.
You know, I have my own.
Well, it's not perfect.
I have to do urology and sensory.
It's things like I've just noticed about smaller.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
Vivek, what would you
Oh yeah.
Please, yes, it's close to somebody else.
Got rid of things that click out. Well, I changed to make the appointments bigger.
just say that? What would Vivek probably
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to one of those things. It's not massively Yeah.
Hi Mo. I think so. I hope so. I think so. I hope so. But you never. No, I know it's going fine.
That is correct. There is a barrister.
They are totally clueless. So you just work. Well, just keep it simple is what I was going to say. It's like saying a bench.
changes, but this, I think there's no harm having my own as well. And then linking it into, obviously everyone's different, it depends how much you want. But what should I base it? Is there like a basic package to get somebody good up and running?
Well, what I would say before we get on to that level, because it's one of those things with how long a piece of string.
Yeah, it depends how
The way
much
it
you
would
want.
work, the way it would work, the way it would work is I would have a consultation with you first. So,
Could do that remotely.
yeah, we can go on site. I'm in Southend in Essex. So, yeah, that's fine. Normally, I would charge £5 for consultation, but as part of what we do,
It's very interesting because
so basically we sit down, have a hour-long consultation, and in that, I'll find out a bit more about you individually, and I'll then build you an action plan for you to the website and your marketing strategy going on.
There's no point wasting time and money getting something else. 2 years later, realise there's no point.
No, yeah. I mean, I know how frustrating it is because I know I have clients on board who have spent tens of thousands of pounds on websites and haven't got the return they need. It's what I do, and it's what I've been doing for years. In fairness to a lot of website designers out there, it's a bit like Dev said, you don't know what you don't like.
for a living.
And when I first started, I was doing all of this. I was saying, what do you want it to look like, and pictures and things like that. And it wasn't so
Now you tell people what they need.
yeah, completely. I mean, I found there's a big information marketing guy called Chris Cardell, and I came across him back in 2007, and I slowly let that information seep in, and then I came across the guy that you're going to meet in a bit, John Cullis, who's basically my mentor. I've been in his elite group now for 3 years, and it's completely transformed my life in terms of what I'm doing, because even 3 years ago, I was still very much focused on direct response marketing. So John is an expert in pricing and positioning. So
really helps with this.
Thanks for a great
I mean, the thing is, because I work with it well, when I come to produce sort of thing where I'm not flying blind to this. You know, I openly admit I've got a clue. You know, I'm not a person, but I work closely with them, and yeah, the end result is profitable websites.
Again, it's not working for you.
That's the only thing that coming out was this was the company that's taken over the local thing. So they wrote this thing. It was obviously a fictitious patient. When I read it, I was like, this is that guy. And he goes, oh, I've been told I need a cardiac device. Can I come and see you? It's like, no patients.
Yeah.
Say that. So, and I knew, so I wrote to the tenants league of the trust and said, I think this is phishing. I'm going to respond that I will sympathy. And I feel, yeah, I'd be delighted to see that you wrote back saying, oh, can I not be seen at the such and such clinic? I was like, well, yes, you can, but my clinic is, and every time I wrote to the government league first and said, and then they said, well, you know, that is what's happened before. And then made an appointment, so I went along, no patients that week, so I just sat there for an hour. Yeah, okay, brilliant. And then confronted him and said, was this you? And so he wasted my time when I would have been doing anything, to be clear, but instead, I've paid the money for room hire and you sent me over to the patient didn't exist. And he said, yeah, well, yes, that was me. And but when it was, this is a good stuff. So you're trying to get me to work with you, and yet this is how you that's a funny way, that's a funny strategy. And
Sadly, the world's full of jokers.
well, that's the only ever hit or only ever contact I've ever had through the website. So I was smashed around, you know, even before.
There's a lot more stuff we can talk about this. And there's a lot more exciting stuff we can talk about remarketing. That's
No, I'm really excited to be
yeah.
I just actually can't wait to get started. Finally, I've been told there's some direction and I can go and.
The trouble is, nobody knows this stuff. And you talk to your colleague at hospital.
If you can solve something, Mark, I think I'm already going pretty
So
well.
there's 2 or 3 ways to do it. And yes, which
Just two on the nose.
to set up a Gmail.
You're doing well. Because
So you add on that email. So whoever looks after your website at the moment, basically, whoever.
But the point
For the
is,
first year, my face. Yes.
honestly, I couldn't believe it. I bet he still hasn't made the changes.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
He still hasn't made his. I bet you know changes. I think
There are 11 people in my unit, and I think obviously one loads, it's not, I don't know what, quite a lot. The third say is on 8, and he's been there for 15 years. So,
the Wix.
so it's market, it's just market. Somebody that's just
So Wix is your website built on Wix.
how do you just get into do what you want? And that was it, that's what
You're right.
that's the point.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's right.
Oh, sorry, it's got a mic. That's right. Yes.
Let's jump over here.
Excellent.
So many
But these kind of official answers to work really well, because a lot of his patients, you know, the elderly, degenerative joint disease.
No, I don't know website.
The elderly
Or you could
patients
do,
generally,
yeah.
So this is my this is British Drops. This is
It's hard.
business to do. And I'll be going home. It is. We've been there 10 years now. It's fantastic. No, not really. Oh, you do? Oh, right. I'll take the dog on there. Yeah. Say again? I've got quite a loud voice apparently. It booms, I'm told.
Take off to wake me up.
Right.
No, it's not going to wake me up. But I drink coffee to wake me up. So
that's helpful. Great.
I always told me.
No, but yeah, when you get 20 years on,
Yeah.
You're the registrar. I'm the registrar. So that's how it works.
Do you want a laptop? Or?
I did need a bar stool.
All right, I'll go get you one.
Or I can sit on one of those, it's fine.
If you're on a bar stool, get a bar stool. In fact, actually, Ben.
What does it do?
Ben, do you mind getting a bar stool while I introduce you?
Hurry up.
I might get
When's it updated? Prices have changed.
This is what I like to see. Now, who are we missing? Aha, here you are. Excellent. So you happy with the sounds of the mic over? You can sort out the mic and everything, is that right? Okay. So, everyone a bit suitably refreshed, ready to go? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to now introduce you to a very good friend and mentor of mine, because we all need mentors, by the name of John McCulloch. He is, in the same way as I try and help people like yourselves, colleagues of mine, grow your private practice, John's expertise is similarly, but he helps people in very many other industries as well. Not doctors, but many industries across the spectrum. And has had some huge successes. And I think you're one of the most expensive.
I am the most expensive.
You are the most expensive copywriter.
Because if I found anyone who charged more, I'd just increase my prices.
So, exactly. So he charges gargantuan amounts of money for the work he does, and he gets paid because he delivers results. So I'm delighted to be able to ask him to speak with you today. And what John is going to be talking about is positioning. And what positioning is, we mentioned lunchtime about Lord Robert Winston, yeah? And I said to you, it's somebody we all know, and the question is, if you went to see him as a fertility specialist, would you expect to pay £120, £250, the bog standard going rate for consultation, plus IVF cycles and all the rest of it? The answer is no. And if you went to see him, you would expect to pay a hell of a lot more, and even more so, if he didn't charge you that, you'd think, what was that? Yeah? That is a natural product of positioning yourself as somebody who's the top of the market, the top of the mountain, the guru that everyone climbs up to see, yeah? John is going to explain how to achieve it. John.
Yeah, hello. Am I allowed to swear, Dev?
You are. Oh, by the way, John swears profusely, but see through the bad language to the message beyond.
Yeah, I'm sitting down because if I stand for a long period of time, my back starts to hurt. That's because
There's an orthopaedic surgeon in the room who could probably see.
for a fee. Oh, well, I'll be talking about prices tomorrow. I've just, any ophthalmologist here? I just had my lenses replaced with multifocus. It's brilliant. I've got better than 20/20 close-up, and I've got 20/20 distance vision.
you're very lucky actually. Very few people achieve that.
Yeah, and this is within 6 weeks.
Wow.
I've been wearing glasses for 49 years, so it's a bit of a change. Now, I normally teach pricing first, but for various reasons we're not going to do that. So what I'm about to say right now is going to, might seem a little bit random from what I then say after it. But there's what makes your business successful, in your case, your practice. Well, you can't expect different results from every other doctor out there by doing the same things that all other doctors do. And like most business owners, what you guys are going to do, because in your various expertises as doctors and the rest of it, you get good doctors, you get bad doctors, but you know it's a distribution, and you're all pretty much the same. The objective difference between a competent between competent doctors is pretty small, isn't it? Of similar experience. All the other things being equal, you're all as good as each other. And you certainly cannot market yourselves by saying, I'm the best eye surgeon in the world. You're not allowed to do that, are you? Because you probably get shot by your, was it the GMC?
GMC, they're good at shooting people.
Yes, they are, aren't they? So you can't do that. But if you want to be able to charge more and get better patients, be more like Lord Winston than just any other doctor in this massive doctors, you have to differentiate yourself somehow, right? Because if you don't, well, then you're no different by definition. And then if you want to charge higher fees and get better patients, because all patients are not equal in the same ways all clients and customers are not equal in my business. If you want to get the better patients, you have to differentiate yourself in some way. But in your particular case, unlike me, because my industry is unregulated, I can say anything I like about myself, and I'm the best this, I'm the best that. No one can gainsay me. But you guys can't. So you might think, well, we can't make ourselves any different. Well, you can. Lord Winston has. There's a guy, a dentist, and okay, dentists aren't real doctors, I suppose, but there's a dentist in the States called Charlie Martin, and he does dentistry. You know, dentistry is dentistry, really. But you can't just go making stuff up as he goes along. So what he does is probably no different from what other dentists do. The reason he can charge $25,000 for $25,000 for something that other dentists charge $5,000 for is all the stuff he's done around it, the positioning. For instance, you won't believe this because it just sounds so stupid, but his waiting room is not a waiting room. There's a fucking arboretum. You walk in and it's like all glass and there's a fucking tree in the middle of it. And he's got a full-time concert pianist playing in there. Well, this is a dentist waiting room. You know, you go to have your teeth done. Come in. Yeah. Oh, I'll get it. Ta.
Is it the guy who gives away bicycles?
No, that's another one. That's another dentist. And then there's one other dentist who you get it's a children's dentist, and he's got this card. And every time the kids go for a successful visit, not screaming and the rest of it, they it's like a loyalty card. He's got a stamp on it. When the card's full, he gives them a free bicycle. Well, again, it's the parents making the buying decision. So what are they going to pay extra to have a child who goes to the dentist without having some kind of epileptic fit about it? Because you know what kids are like with dentists sometimes. Paddy London, another dentist in Australia, when you go to Paddy, you can't just go to Paddy. You have to be referred by an existing patient. And when you go, you're the only person other than the staff in the building. And the waiting room's got your name on it. So it's not just a waiting room, on that particular occasion, it's your waiting room. But again, Paddy charges way over the odds for his services because, not because he's a better dentist, he could be a shit dentist for all we know, but because he's got this thing, it's the experience, right? Now that's what I'm talking about with positioning. And there's no reason any of you couldn't do this. You could all do it. Okay? The one mistake that Optico Express made with me is they didn't charge me enough for a life-changing operation. Only £5,500 because they are fairly commoditised and the marketing is okay, but it's not as good as it could be. Maybe I should talk to them about improving their marketing.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should. So really, that's just this is normally how I start the two. By the way, this is a really well, it's not complicated. This is a huge topic. This and pricing go together like hand in glove. They're kind of on a continuum. In the summer, I did 2 days, 1 day on pricing, 1 day on positioning. And then in November, I did 2 full days on positioning. So that's 4 days. And I still didn't really get to the bottom of it. I've written 10 newsletters, 12 pages, so it's about 50,000 words on the subject too in the last 12 months. So, and I've still not plumbed the depths of it. So you've got me for 45 minutes today and probably the same tomorrow. So we can only scratch the surface. Okay? If you want more, ask Dev about it. And if you want to get me on calls and things, I think we've got to finish with the call.
We did one interview.
Yeah, we've got to do another one. We've got to finish it off. So.
Yep.
So really, you know, you can't expect extraordinary results from ordinary behaviour. You can't expect different results from every other doctor out there by doing exactly the same as they do. All right? So, although it's very uncomfortable to do this positioning stuff, because no matter what you do, you will have someone pop their head up and say what a wanker you are and how much they hate you and how you probably shouldn't be allowed to do all this stuff. If you want the kind of results, if you want to be like Lord Winston, unless you want to go down the route of becoming a pioneering researcher, which is probably getting more and more difficult these days, yeah? Unless you go down that route, you've got to do something else. Make yourself like a celebrity doctor. I don't mean like Raj Passood, who's been struck off anyway. Has he been struck off, or
He
has
was,
been
then he was
disgraced?
reinstated, but he's disgraced.
He's disgraced. He was plagiarised,
That's
wasn't
psychiatrist.
he? Yeah.
He was he's
Plagiariser.
a celebrity psychiatrist who plagiarised other people's research, as I say. So he was struck off.
But I mean, I've got an example of what I'm talking about. Is say, he's not a doctor, but Gordon Ramsay. Right? Now, Gordon Ramsay's, I don't know how objectively good he is as a chef, but I bet he's not the best. The one's equally as good. The objective difference between two very highly trained and experienced chefs is probably fairly small. It's the same with runners. You know, Usain Bolt's the world champion. Who came second? Anyone know? What was the objective difference between them? 100th, 1,000th of a second? So the objective difference between the top in the field is very small. It's just that Usain won. He's the celebrity. Yeah? Gordon Ramsay's the one with the big mouth and on telly. I think he's brilliant. He's so funny. But he's the one who's on telly, and the other chefs are not. So the objective difference between them is very small, but the fact is they're in the right place at the right time doing the right things to get them into that position where they can charge more because they have a big eye out. Well, you guys can all get yourself there in your own niches if you want to. Or you can choose to just be the same as everyone else.